Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be making steamed buns filled with a beef filling. This is something that my son requested, and it's close to Lunar New Year, and I usually make steamed buns or dumplings or a soup. So today I'm going to opt to make delicious steamed buns. First, I am going to add 1 cup of warm water into a larger cup, and this is between the temperature of 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar, give that a mix to dissolve. Then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of dry yeast, and then I'm going to let it set for about 5 to 10 minutes until it is active. Now, if you have instant yeast, you can just add that to the dough and skip this step. Now that my yeast is ready, I'm going to start making the dough. In a large bowl, I'm going to add around 5 cups of all-purpose flour. I will be leaving weighted measurements in the description below for a more accurate recipe. Once my flour is added, I'm going to add in my activated yeast, and that is 1 cup of liquid. I'm going to give that a mix, and then I'm going to slowly add a 1/2 cup of water. Honestly, I think I added a little too much water, but a 1/2 cup should do the trick to make the dough come together. If you are not weighing your ingredients, then you want to add water little by little until it comes together into a dough ball. Now I'm combining it and mixing it with my hand, and I'm really not going to knead this. I'm just sort of going to mix it for a couple of minutes until it comes together into a dough ball. In a large glass bowl, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of oil, and I'm just going to brush the inside of the bowl. And now I'm just going to add my dough ball in the center, and then brush the top of my dough, and just cover it with cling wrap. And once I cover it, I'm going to place it in my oven with the oven light on, and I'm going to let it rest and proof for at least 1.5 hours. Now, it may take longer depending on the temperature of your oven, but you want it to double in size. Now I'm going to work on my filling. Here I have 1 pound of ground beef. I'm also going to be adding 1 tablespoon of garlic paste and 1 teaspoon of ginger paste. You could just use finely minced fresh garlic and crushed or minced ginger. Now I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of Korean red pepper powder, 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce. I'm also going to be adding 2 teaspoons of beef bouillon powder, and this is actually dashida. And I'm also going to be adding 3 scallions that I've chopped. And I've also finely chopped and shredded cabbage. I'm going to be using a 1/2 pound of just regular cabbage. Napa cabbage probably works better in this recipe, but I was just using what I had. Next, I'm going to be adding a 1/4 cup of cornstarch, and I'm just going to sift it. That makes it a lot easier to incorporate into the filling. And then I'm going to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of cold water. You could also substitute the water and the cornstarch with 1 large egg white. This is just to help bind the filling. So I went ahead and mixed it, but I also want to add 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, the salt or seasoning ratios are definitely up to you and your preference, but this is what I'm using today. Okay, so at this point, my dough has doubled in size. And what you'll want to do is basically deflate the air from the proofed dough. Now I'm going to flour my work surface and turn the dough out onto the flour. And then I'm going to start pressing it and kneading it. You want to remove as much air from the dough as possible while kneading it smooth, or as smooth as you can get it. I am doing this by hand. If you are using a stand mixer, that probably works a lot better. But you guys know I like to do things by hand, so I'm just going to knead until I get most of the air out and until it is almost smooth. So At this point, you can sort of poke a hole in the center and sort of do the donut hole, stretch it out into a circular shape, and then tear it and cut it into dough balls. But I'm going to weigh these out as evenly as possible. If you are doing small steamed buns, you would get around 24, medium 16, large 8. I'm going to do a combination of medium and large. So I have 4 large and 8 medium. So I will put the weight of the dough and kind of how to divide it for more accuracy. I'll put the info below. So here in my steamer basket, I'm going to oil it well. I have about 2 that I'm going to be using. And I'm just going to show you how to create your little steamed bun. So you're going to sort of flatten it. And I'm going to flour my rolling pin and the work surface a little bit. And then I'm going to start working around the edges. I'm just going to roll the edges and leave the center kind of thick, because eventually if you kind of roll it flat evenly, then the bottom might break as it cooks. So you want to leave the center of your little dough thicker than the outer edges. So now that it's rolled out, I'm going to scoop in around 2 tablespoons for a medium steamed bun. If you're doing the smaller version, then you'll want to add maybe a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half. So now that I've added my filling into the center, I'm going to do the whole pleat and turn, and you want to keep your thumb on the first pleat to kind of guide you. So you kind of pleat, and sort of turn as you go, and eventually, once you pleat all of the dough, you kind of twist it and pinch it in the center, and that should secure your steamed bun. And as always, the first one is kind of wonky. I have to get into the groove of things, but I really did want to show you guys this first one so you're not discouraged, so you don't think you're doing something wrong, because I do make steamed buns ever so often, and I'm definitely not a pro, but it's something I enjoy doing. So eventually, if you do this long enough or more frequently, then, you get better with practice. So once I'm done with filling all of my buns, I'm going to place them in a 2-tiered steamer pot. And this actually comes with 3, but I only needed 2. So I'm going to stack them on top of each other. I've added 2 liters of warm water at the bottom, and I'm just going to cover this with a lid and let it set and sort of proof for about 15 minutes. Then after it has set and rested for about 15 minutes, I'm going to turn the heat on. And what you'll want to do is bring the water to a simmering rolling boil, then start your cook time. These are going to take between 15 minutes to 18 minutes. The smaller ones definitely take about 15 minutes, but I do have medium and large, so I'll give it about 15 to 18 minutes to cook. And then once they are done cooking, I'm going to shut the heat off, and I'm not going to lift the lid. I'm going to let this set for about 3 to 5 minutes. And after 3 to 5 minutes of set time, then I'm going to lift the lid, and I want to show you what these look like. And my house, it smells great. So here are my cute steamed buns. I can't tell you how excited my kid gets. After seeing that movie Bao, he just loves these steamed buns. So I'm going to show you what the inside looks like. By the way, I did not mention this earlier, but you can fill these with pretty much anything. If you want to go sweet, or if you're sticking with a meat filling, you can do ground chicken, ground pork, all veggie. Sometimes I do pork and kimchi. I'll add sometimes sweet potato noodles and tofu and veggies in the mix. The possibilities are endless, but take a look at how this cooked through. It is so tender and juicy, and the bun is so soft. So I definitely hope you guys give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.